Hello, fellow Starfleet cadets and aliens. Angie B here with today's vlog. It's been quite a while since I've done a vlog, in large part because I've had a really busy weekend. But I get to come back and I get to do a vlog on one of my favorite things from the past summer, which is Star Trek. Now, if you're like me, you were salivating when you found out that they were making another Star Trek movie. And if you're also like me, when you found out Zachary Quinto was playing Spock, you pretty much jumped over the moon. Now, I would consider myself a Trekkie because I grew up watching Next Generation, and I've seen all of the original show, and I've, dabbled in some of the other series, but I'm not a die-hard Trekkie by any, mean stretch of the imagination. But I have to say, this new Star Trek movie really got my juices flowing. I loved the original characters, okay? I thought Chekhov was adorable, Sulu was a badass, Spock was the greatest thing since Green Eggs and Ham, and McCoy was just wonderful and snarky. Now, I wasn't a huge fan of Kirk, at least not Shatner's Kirk, but I think it's because Shatner's acting was a little bit hammy, and, it was really ridiculous, some of the stuff that Kirk did, but I just didn't find him as likable as Spock and McCoy, who were gads more interesting because they were goofy and funny, and McCoy was so, grumpy and old man all the time, and Spock is so like, oh, I'm right and you're wrong, and blah blah blah, I'm a Vulcan, yada yada yada. So, and I do love Kirk when he's with McCoy and Spock, because I think that they're the OT3 to end all OT3s. Like, even the Dr. Rose and Jack don't compare to Kirk, Spock, and McCoy. I just love them so much. But the purpose of this vlog is not to talk about the original show, and it's not to talk about just Star Trek in general. It's to talk about the 2009 movie brought to us by J.J. Abrams, a.k.a. one of the best men to have ever lived. Geek God, amazing person supreme. I loved the new movie, okay? I saw it 7 times in the theater. It beat my record. Before then, the most times I'd ever seen a movie in the theaters was 6 times. And it was a tie. Iron Man and Return of the King. But Star Trek blew it out of the water. I was so good, I knew that I had to see it more than 6 times in the theater, and I beat my record 7 times. And I went, the night after it opened, and I've seen it with almost all of my friends, and it was just so good. I am dying of anticipation. I can't wait till November 17th, man. I'm just like, oh, come on. Why does it have to be so far away? I want it. I want to own it. I want to watch it 50 more times. I want to examine every single frame and memorize every nuance of Zachary Quinto's performance and just marvel over the Lensflares and do Star Trek drinking games, and oh god, I love the movie so much. It was a perfect combination of beautiful cinematography, absolutely superb music by Michael Giacchino. Oh my god, I love that man. I want to marry him and have 50 billion musical babies with him because I love all of his music, and his titles are always so funny, and he just such a good job with the movie. It's epic and stirring and retro and new, and everything is so good. And then you've got the amazing cast. Holy crap, there have never been more GQ motherfuckers in a single movie ever. Really, ever. Star Trek is on par with Lord of the Rings in terms of GQ motherfuckers, in my opinion. The whole cast is just pitch perfect. Even the very small characters that don't get much screen time, like Gayla, okay? Rachel did a great job as Gayla. She was so good, and I really hope they bring her back in the next movie. Let her have been on the Enterprise and we just didn't see her. Let her have escaped in one of the escape pods when the other ships were attacked. I want Gayla back because, gosh darn it, I want Gayla and Scotty, okay? You can blame K.H. Maddie and Sarah Ashley for that because they write some of the best Scotty Gayla stuff ever, and it's just so good, and I want them to be a real couple. I loved Spock and Uhura in the movie. Oh my gosh, talk about unexpected OTP. Because, I went into the movie, I hadn't even heard rumors that they were going to be doing Spock and Uhura. And when it happened, I was just like, yes! Yes, yes, yes! I loved that Spock got the girl and not Kirk. I loved that they just had that touching moment in the elevator, and then when they were on the teleport pad, oh my gosh! And, oh my gosh. And the entire cast is so pretty, and I love Chekhov a lot. Oh my god, he's so adorable. Anton Yelchin. Oh, you're so adorable. And John Cho was so badass as Sulu. Please let there be more badass Sulu sword fighting scenes in the next one. Please, because he was so awesome. And Christopher Pike, holy shit! Bruce Greenwood has never looked sexier, man. That is one very fine man, okay? Oh, he's so pretty. And he did such a good job as Christopher Pike. I mean, I think he's on par with Spock in terms of my, like, oh yes. And then you've got Chris Pine, or as I call him, Captain Fine, playing Captain Kirk. And thank you, Chris Pine, because for the first time ever, I really liked Kirk. I loved him because he was the perfect combination of immature and, like, kick-ass. And I loved that Kirk was always getting his ass handed to him. He was always hanging off of shit. He was always getting punched in the face. And yet, he was still awesome because he always rebounded. And oh my god, when he and Spock finally come to terms, and when they're like shooting the lasers, and oh my god, and then when Spock actually calls him Jim, the first time Spock calls him Jim, I literally flailed in my seat, and I had tears in my eyes because it was so perfect. And then you've got Zachary Quinto as Spock, because holy shit, he is so good as Spock. I knew that he was going to be an awesome Spock, because you look at Zachary Quinto and you're like, there's no one else that could play Spock. There really isn't. And he just brought such a perfect balance of repressed emotion and passion with the cold, calm logic, and every single one of his mannerisms, from when he stands up and straightens his shirt before he goes and has the, you know, telling to Kirk, from that to all the way, you know, fascinating, and his technobabble, and oh my gosh, I love Zachary Quinto as Spock so much. He does things to my ovaries, man. That scene when he's on the teleport pad and he's getting ready to beam down to Vulcan, and then when he materializes, and I'm just like, holy shit, because just something about the way that he, like, prepares to be teleported, and then when he lands, and it's all like, Spock. Holy crap. And he's a mama's boy! How can you not love that? I mean, he's the perfect guy. He's intellectual, he's obviously got some fiery passion beneath the surface, and he's just, oh, he's so awesome. I love Spock. Spock's always been my favorite Star Trek character ever. He even beats out Captain Picard, which is a big thing. But, oh my god, Zachary Quinto did such a good job as Spock. And then you have Carl Urban as McCoy, because I can't end this vlog without talking about Carl Urban, because that man is amazing. And I'm so glad that he was cast as McCoy, and I'm so glad that he actually did a sci-fi action flick that wasn't shitty, okay? I know Carl loves the sci-fi action flicks, but he always takes really shitty roles, okay? Doom, Pathfinder, I can't even think of them all. Ask Becca. If you want to know about some of the other stuff Carl's done, ask Becca, but oh my gosh. I was so glad that he got to play McCoy, and he did him perfectly. He was all gruff and like, rah, rah, and I'm pissed off, and I'm, you know, crazy and weird, and oh, it was so awesome. Oh god, I love McCoy. And I loved that it was like the McCoy and Kirk show, and it was just so great. I totally get the pairing, man. Not that I would write it myself, but I totally get it. And then you've got Simon Pegg as Scotty, because oh my god, Simon Pegg. The fresh Pegg. I love Simon Pegg in everything, and he did such a good job as Scotty. He really shone, and I was so glad that he had that big scene with the sandwiches and Admiral Archer's Prize Beagle and ample nacelles, and oh my gosh. I love Scotty. And I'm really hoping that everybody gets tons more scenes in the next one. I hope that they don't try to bring back too many old villains, because I feel like since this is now an AU, which was a brilliant idea, by the way, I was so glad they did an AU, because when you see all the different series they've done of Star Trek, there's too much stuff that you have to go back and fact check, and the continuity is always a problem, and so I was glad that they just decided to do it completely, just wipe the slate clean. Now they can do an entire AU series in the movies, and if they ever bring it to TV, oh my god. So I was really glad that they went the AU route. I know a lot of people weren't happy with it, but I think it was a totally logical choice. See what I did there? So I just hope that the next one is just as awesome, if not more. I hope that they just expand and let all of the characters have more room, and I hope they have more Spock and Uhura, and I hope that Kirk finally gets a girl. I hope they have Chapel and Rand, because that would be awesome. Oh my gosh, I love Star Trek so much. It was so good. It was definitely the best movie I saw all summer, okay? It was emotional, it was action-packed, it was funny. It was just really well written and really well acted and really well directed because, I mean, it's J.J. Abrams and he's a god. So, I love Star Trek. I am proud to call myself a Trekkie. If you haven't seen Star Trek yet, as soon as it comes out on November 17th, you rush out and buy a copy. And that's my vlog for today. Hope you guys have enjoyed. Live long and prosper, bitches.